Welcome back to the Mail-In podcast. It is a lovely, chilly Wednesday morning, although you're hearing this on Thursday morning. I am your host, Brett Merriman. To my right, lovely, the bundled up this morning, Sally deFries. Hello, Sally. How are you?
I am bundled.
You are straight bundled.
I couldn't figure out what I was going to wear, so I put on a vest, and I was like, that's not warm enough, so I put a jacket over it.
We just went for everything today.
It's a whole look.
It is a whole look.
I mean, we're in that weather in Austin where it'll like probably be 70 later. Actually, I don't think it's going to get that warm today, but layering is key. Gotta take those layers off.
Layering is very key as you get older. I think you go like college is like a hoodie, post-grad's like a hoodie and a jacket, and then like then when you get a little bit of money, a little bit of further away from college years, you're just layering like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big layering fan.
You're not layered though. You're wearing like a tech
Little tech button-down situation. We have a happy hour with a client today, so I figured I'd throw on something nice.
It's probably not going to get wrinkled because it's that tech material.
It is one of my favorite button-downs. Wow. I will shout them out. It's Rhone, R-H-O-N-E.
Wow. No,
as they are a sponsor of ours, but this is not spawn.
Not today. They're not spawn.
Correct. Not today. They're not spawned. What else is going on? What do you have planned today, Sally? What's your Wednesday like? How were your chores last week?
I won't lie to you.
Okay.
Right before the podcast, put some stuff in my lips, thinking it was like I was just like blindly reaching in my purse, thought it was regular lip gloss. Okay. And the stuff I put on has like the heat in it, so that it's supposed to plump up your lips, and now my lips are on fire.
So you're just buzzing right now.
It's not great.
Not great.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do it too. Can I have some? And we'll just both be plump lipped, buzzing all podcast.
Are you gonna give me herpes?
No, I don't have herpes. I'm good.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
Here.
No, I don't actually need it. I don't think I want my lips on fire.
Ooh, feels like a little jalapeno there. Not much on the docket today.
Nice. Okay.
Which is great for me.
Good. I slept for like almost 12 hours last night.
Mm-hmm.
A solid 11.
8:30.
Okay, so yes.
But then that's the problem. When you go to bed that early, you wake up. I woke up at like midnight and then was awake till 2.
Oh, jeez.
And I just was like awake thinking about stuff, and then decided that at like 1:30 a.m. would be the most opportune time to go like clean out my dishwasher.
Okay.
Did you know that you have a filter in your dishwasher that you're supposed to clean?
You know, I've learned 2 things about dishwashers recently. One, yes, you're supposed to clean a filter, but I don't know where it is.
It's in the bottom.
Oh boy. Okay.
So where the little blade is?
Yeah.
It's there. You can see there's like a cylinder that sticks up, and usually it's the filter, and it twists out.
Okay. I'll do that at some point. Not looking forward to it because I would imagine it's going to be gross.
Yeah.
Number 2, I learned that if you're using pods versus just like
regular
soap,
dishwasher,
you're just supposed to put it in the dishwasher and not in the little pod
drawer.
pocket. Yeah.
Because it doesn't like dissolve in time.
Yeah. What's up with that? I feel like there needs to be rules and directions on that front.
Yeah.
So I'm now just throwing the soap pod just into the thing.
I'm in a weird stage of adulthood. I think maybe from having a child, I don't know. I'm like trying to keep all of my stuff like really tip-top shape, clean.
Okay.
So as not to like pass on mold to Fritz and stuff.
Sure. That's a good, we all strive for that.
Did you also know that your washing machine has a filter?
Yes, I did.
You clean that puppy out?
No, I haven't.
It's upsetting.
I have not. I, again, don't know where it is. But
do you have
a
front
know.
loader or a top loader?
Top loader.
That's the dream. We have a front loading. I hate it.
I hate front loading everything.
I hate it. I despise it with all of my being. I think it just makes everything moldier, like because stuff gets trapped in there. And the issue is we can't you're supposed to leave all that open so that it can dry and doesn't mold. If you're not washing clothes, you're supposed to leave the lid open.
Interesting.
People have probably tuned out at this point. They're like, we don't give a shit about
No, this
weird
this
things.
is our audience, Sally. This is they're not here for the jokes. They're here for exactly this.
So you're supposed to leave like, and especially if you have one of those like, my front loading one has like a drawer that you put detergent in and then push it back in.
Right.
Supposed to leave that open too, because that's like where mold, anything that's like wet and doesn't have access to like oxygen and being dry, etc. Not really. I mean, oxygen helps the mold grow, but needs to be able to dry, air out.
Okay.
So you have to leave the door open and you leave that thing open and let it dry out fully. But like when we do that, Fritz just like walks in and tries to climb into the washer.
That's what kids do that stuff.
So
man,
that's the issue with the front loader. The front loader sucks though. Your kid tries to climb in, all your clothes are moldy.
Washing clothes is just it's the worst. I like the act of doing it. I like the idea of doing it. But I hate transferring. I've said this on the show before. My washing machine is on the right, top loader. My dryer is on the left, the door opens swinging counterclockwise, like towards the washing machine.
Not normal? I feel like the washing machine's normally on the left.
Exactly. So I have to take my clothes out, top load, dodge the dryer door. There's not a whole lot of room in this laundry room because I also have my hockey stuff in there. So I'm stepping on like skates and shoulder pads and helmets. Dodge the dryer drawer, come over the top and stuff it in.
Can you not switch them around?
I mean, I probably could, but I think that's a lot of effort.
It's really not, because you can just unplug.
And I don't even know, but it's almost like they were put in there and then the wall was like built after them. I don't know if I have a whole lot of like Tetris room to play with.
To move it?
Yeah. I probably could, but that's just an afternoon activity that doesn't feel like it's in the cards for your boy.
I get that.
I'm just going to complain about it instead.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is like peak 30s for me, is like caring about this shit.
I think so. We went and toured a model home on Sunday, just because.
Just for shits and gigs?
Just for shits and gigs before the Bills game. Needed like a de-stress thing, so we decided to tour a model home.
Okay.
The level of advancement in washing machines is staggering. Like they look like spaceships at this point. But that's
the thing.
Do you have a spaceship washing machine?
I don't want that. I want like the old school, like bad for the environment, fills up with tons of water.
Yep.
So you can like soak your clothes. I don't want the high energy efficient, blah, blah, blah. I want a top loader that's going to use basically the amount of water of a swimming pool every time I wash. I know I'm going to probably get canceled for this. Okay. But that's how I want to wash my clothes. And those don't even exist anymore. Like you cannot buy them. You have to like find a guy, like an appliance guy who has one refurbished from like 1990. You can't just go buy one at Best Buy.
You want the old school
with the high water amounts.
Yeah, that there's like an ocean in your laundry room.
It sucks.
Man, I don't know what to tell you, Sal. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you on that front. We're gonna have to find a guy. Maybe somebody out there will be like, "I'll sell you my washing machine."
Maybe. Hit me up, you guys. Help me give me some tips for this stupid front loader. I hate it.
Mold situation. Well, if you want to give us tips on that, please write in at the link to the Twitter bio at Merriman Podcast, or you can ask a question or give us a call. Hit the hotline number 888-362-MAIL, 888-362-6245. Please subscribe on iTunes also and follow on Spotify. We might have to do, I have so many voicemails banked right now that we might have to do a voicemail exclusive episode.
Okay.
Might be fun. But this is just all questions. So here we go. Hey guys, what's the line between settling, in parentheses, that might be too harsh a word, and accepting relationships always require some degree of work? Okay, so here we go again. What's the line between settling and accepting that relationships always require some degree of work? Not necessarily talking about major issues here, just differences that create little tensions. How many little tensions is too many, Sally?
The limit does not exist. I mean, okay, ask me on a different day. I think this is totally dependent on what stage you are in your relationship.
Okay.
Here's how I think that most relationships go. You meet the person, you're infatuated with them. That's the infatuation stage. You put them on a pedestal. They don't text you back. You like have a full-blown panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
And either it fizzles out because you care too much and they weren't into it, or it keeps going and you get past the infatuation stage. Then once you're past the infatuation stage and you're like getting into like starting to date, that's when you start realizing the annoying things they do that piss you off.
Right.
But not enough to break up with them, just enough to question whether or not you want to date them at all.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So maybe you're like a month in and you're like, okay, like they do this thing like when they are, talking on the phone or whatever, or like here's one that really annoys me. Like they exclusively talk to people on speakerphone. Why?
Okay.
Why are you doing that?
Okay.
Shit like that you're like, this is annoying, but I can get over it, but I don't even know if I want to deal with it enough to date this person.
Okay.
Then if you move past that stage, it's because your feelings for them outweigh the annoyances. And then it becomes like, usually that thing is like a little quirk that they did that you're not like that annoyed by later on. But at the beginning, it seems like a big deal, right?
Yes.
And then you get into like a serious relationship and you just have these ebbs and flows where like you're obsessed with each other, everything's great, whatever. And then one day, everything they do annoys you.
Mm-hmm.
Every single thing. Doesn't matter. Like they're standing wrong in the kitchen. They're breathing too loud. They forgot something that it's just dumb shit. That's
you spend so much time with somebody
correct.
That dumb shit is going to happen.
And then you just move past it and you get over it. Or you get into a giant argument with them about it.
Stop standing wrong.
Correct. And then you just are like, I'm being a crazy person, and you move on. I think that this exists in every relationship, but what my point is like, it's where you are on the spectrum and also your willingness to let go of things that aren't important. And I think that is vital for a relationship because you cannot in my opinion, have a relationship where nothing is wrong. And I'm not talking about like full-blown deal breakers. I'm talking about like little annoying things.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to like let that shit roll off of you.
Agree.
I'm like talking from extreme experience today because unbeknownst to Will, he's been annoying the shit out of me for the past 24 hours.
Ooh.
Don't tell him.
Okay. I think my 2 cents on this was going to be something along the lines of when the annoyances consume a relationship, when the annoyances are all you can think about and you can't get to that stage of like, I'm over it. I'm still in love with this person. I really like this person, but like when the little tensions are boiling over every day, there's something wrong there. Like that's just not sustainable. You just can't like your relationship. While yes, they always require work. That is no doubt. I just think we're in a stage in our lives and a period of time when like you have like options for lack of a better term, and you can always continue to meet. So the same thing goes with a job. Like people used to stay in careers for 40 years.
Yeah.
Now they don't because it's like, well, if I'm annoyed for a year and a half at something, like I'm just going to find something new because you can. The options are so much bigger and wider. And same goes for this. It's like if you're to the point where these annoyances and tensions and whatever it may be are consuming your relationship, that's just not as sustainable and that's not healthy for either of you.
Right. I say that in the sense of like, I completely agree with you. I think when you are meant to be with somebody and you love them, a lot of times you can like overcome that.
Sure.
With the caveat of like, for me, annoyances are like, I don't think you're settling just because someone does something kind of quirky and annoying.
No.
But I do think there's a different type of tension that I think is not worth settling for or ignoring, and that's stuff like jealousy.
Right. I was gonna say like a jealousy, a controlling thing.
Right.
Maybe it's like maybe you want to go out Thursday, Friday and have fun, and he wants to stay home and just always always wants to play like Xbox and never wants to go meet your friends and never wants to do like maybe there's that, or he's like out with his guys too much and like refuses to just not golf every Friday, Saturday, even though you're like, please, for the love of God, can we go to the farmer's market or something like that?
Yeah.
So there's just stuff there's like compromise. And if compromise doesn't happen and that's a source of tension, yeah, that's a bigger problem than standing wrong or not breaking down a box kind of thing.
Right.
Like there's levels to this stuff.
Well, there's things that feel like they can't be gotten over. Like maybe they're a bad texter.
Okay, perfect.
But at the same time, I can get over that. I can't get over someone like being controlling.
Absolutely.
So it's to each their own. But then there, in the same vein of like, I almost feel like this question stemmed from somebody being like, we feel like Mary's really settling because John is he's like kind of a fat slob, and he also like is really jealous. Like,
right. People that fight over this stuff, all like the fighting couples.
Yeah.
How many fighting couples do you know that have made it? Like, I don't know. I just don't. I'm not programmed like that. I don't understand. And if you are a fighting couple, I would love to hear from you.
I know like a couple fighting couples that have like grown out of that phase.
Oh, which is good.
Together because like they were fighting couples when we were like young, early 20s, post grad, and like just didn't have like enough drama in their lives, I guess.
Right.
But now I've like moved past that and like have other shit to worry about besides like starting a fight with their significant other while they're drunk.
Every night.
Yeah.
You just don't. There's no a couple fighting couples, and it's like, why do you guys? Why? This doesn't seem fun.
Low key though, like having a fighting couple in your life, as dramatic as it is like kind of fun. That's fucked up to say, but like when you're out and you're like,
oh, here they go.
It's fun when they're like they're fighting, but it's not like escalating to something that's like really obscene, like someone cheating on the other person or the cops getting called.
Yeah.
But like when they're like being annoying, you're like, here we go. That's like a little bit of entertainment for you and your friends.
The fighting couple
at the expense of their happiness.
One of the fighting couples that I know very well did not like it when I did a ding 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 bell in the boxing ring, and they were like, then the ire was on me, and I was like, ooh.
In your experience, the fighting couples know that they're the fighting couple.
I think the man does. I'm not sure if the woman like, you know what I mean? Like the man will be like, oh, that fucking every time.
Yeah.
Comes back to like the guy's side of the table at the picnic table at insert restaurant.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, here we, and we're like, how'd that one go? You know, like that. So I think he does in a lot of the cases, but
one of the few joys you have in your early 20s is watching a fighting couple, knowing couples. That you are not in one.
Randy, what's your experiences with fighting couples?
I don't really have any. I don't think. I don't know.
Okay.
Wow, thank you for that.
I usually just walk away. It's like, I don't want to deal with this.
That's Randy's.
Maybe I just love the drama.
That's true. You know what I love, Sally?
There. What?
Our friends over at Liquid IV.
Wow.
The new year is here, and there's no better way to kick off 2023 than by making sure you're feeling like your best self. Liquid IV is the category-winning hydration brand, fueling your well-being, and their hydration multiplier is the one product you're missing in your daily routine. In just one stick, you get 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than water alone. Use it first thing in the morning, before a workout, when you feel run down, after a long night out, and on long flights. Did you realize how dehydrated you get on flights, Sally?
I mean, yeah. My whole brand is like rehydrating your skin on flights, but hydration has to start within. You gotta drink your hydration.
Hydration
first.
does start with it.
Yeah, it does.
But you moisturize.
I just basically made a tagline for Liquid IV. I mean, they have their own Fueling Life's
Adventures.
But hydration starts within.
It also
Call
does.
me Liquid IV.
They already sponsor us.
I don't. Call me more. I guess I don't.
What I do what my favorite part of Liquid IV, they kind of mentioned it. There's a Liquid IV for every point in your day and every activity. Morning can be either the energy blend or a hangover to rehydrate. Mid-afternoon can be the energy blend or after a workout to hydrate. And then at night, it can be before you go out, get some hydration in, or it can be the immune system one, the immune approach, whatever it's called.
I like the immune one in the morning.
You could do that too.
Little tangerine to wake you up.
You know what's in that too?
What?
5 essential vitamins.
Yeah.
B3, B12, B6, B5, and vitamin C. How about that? 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks and made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MAILIN at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MAILIN at liquidiv.com. Next one, Sally. Here we go. What's up, Mail-In crew? My boyfriend, 31, and I, 26-year-old female, have been together for a year and a half. We met in the last year of my PhD program and went 5.5 hours long distance 6 months ago when I started my first tenure track position. As people who have done long distance before, what tips do you have for making it work? How do we decide when it's time to end long distance and for one of us to move? LDRs, Sally.
Is 5.5 hours enough for you to get on a plane?
I would say yes. It's a shitty drive.
Yeah.
To do consistently.
Yeah.
3.5 is probably my drive. But
Max.
It's 5.5 hours. You might not get a perfect flight situation, like unless it's like major city to major city.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my tip is, I think you and I have said this before. I think you aim to see each other at the very least once a month. Try every other weekend ish. I think the fairest way to do it is usually to like flip flop who goes where. You know. Obviously that can be moved around based on what's going on in your lives. Like if y'all are going to a wedding together or out of town or whatever.
Sure.
But that worked for us. I think the longest we usually went without seeing each other was 3 weeks. That's not a hard and fast rule. I just think after 3 weeks, you get to a point where you haven't seen them. You get anxious. You get upset with each other easily, things like that.
Yeah.
We used to do this thing. We'll always would call me out on it, but like right before we would see each other and we hadn't seen each other in like 2 or 3 weeks, I would like literally pick a fight with him about something and he'd be like, don't do it. Like, I know what you're doing. Every time. It was like the Thursday before the Friday. Like no matter what, I would pick a fight with him and I don't know why. But I think usually when we were going longer, it was like that stress of like not seeing him boiled over and caused me to pick a fight for no reason at all and be the fighting couple.
Oh, I see.
I'm just kidding. But I think 3 as a max for us that's what worked in our relationship.
Yeah.
I think it made it easier to do every other week, but we were Austin to Houston. So, 3 hours max and Austin to Fort Worth. I think another thing that's important for you, I don't think there's a hard and set limit, but I think when it makes sense for you to be together, that's when it should happen. Our long distance was by circumstance. We met long distance, but I knew even when we met that I was going to go back to school. And then I knew we would be in separate places when I was in school. And so we had like a 3-year time frame for that. I think when it becomes very apparent that you are just over the long distance part is when it's right for you to make moves.
Sure.
Obviously, I think if you've been with somebody and there are opportunities for them to move where you are or vice versa, where you're like, she took this job on a tenure track, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like if something comes up in the city he's in and that makes sense, I think it's a little more difficult for like her PhD stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
But if, it makes sense for him to move to you and then he like passes up that opportunity for me, I'm like, well, why aren't we working towards being in the same city?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
But I don't know that there is a number. I think most people could burn out at a couple years.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think you're right about when it makes sense is the best time. And that changes per couple, that changes per circumstance. A lot of the time, school's involved here.
Yeah.
And then you just try to, some people can't move. Some people have to be where they are. And it's kind of on the other person to move, which sucks in a lot of cases, but that's just kind of sometimes how it works. I think when it's time to end is you're right when it's like it's so clear that this is going to go the distance that you kind of have to something that has to make it work.
Yeah.
Um, that's not necessarily like you don't have to be thinking about that from day one.
Right.
It can take a year, it can take 2, it can take 3 years. Like there's no hard and set rule on it. But the tip for it is, like you said, once a month at the least, and always have your next thing planned.
Yeah.
Like always have your next trip planned. Try to schedule 3 or 4 in a row. Like don't leave a weekend being like, when am I going to see you again?
Yeah.
Because that also creates that little creeping anxiety, creeping doubt, because you just don't really know.
And then I argue that it's time to end the relationship at any point when you are realizing that like maybe your alone time without that person is more enjoyable.
Sure.
And I'm not saying people should absolutely enjoy their alone time away from their significant other in any circumstance, even when you're in the same city. But when like you're going to visit them and you're stressed about it because you don't want to deal with, the hassle or seeing them or whatever, and you are starting to wish like, I just wish I was at home and they weren't with me. It's not even like I wish they would have come to me this weekend. It's like I wish I was at home alone and not with you. That's a clear sign like maybe it's time to end this relationship. I think the issue with long distance relationships is it doesn't follow normal rules. So it's really easy for people to get sucked in and then like stay in one. Or like not give it a shot because they don't really know how to like act accordingly.
Sure.
It takes a lot of trust, takes a lot of patience, takes a lot of coordination. And then there's also the part of like there's always like a weirdness when you come back together and you're like living in the same city for the first time. Because a lot of times when you're seeing somebody every other week or every 3 weeks or whatever it is, a lot of times you're like doing fun stuff. It's like, oh, Brett's coming in town. Okay, we're gonna have this group dinner so everyone can see him.
Yeah. And
then we're gonna like do this birthday party, but we're also gonna do a day at the museums. It's like you're never just being with each other. Yeah. And I think that's how Will's and I relationship was for like the first year. And then when I went to grad school, it was a lot more like he would come and we would just lay there
and just hang.
And I think almost that made our transition into a couple in the same city made it better because we were used to just being around each other, not like going. So don't make every visit like a little mini vacation.
Sure.
I mean, it is because you get to like see that person, but you don't want every single time you see each other to be like something fun, exciting. Like it's okay for them to just come visit you and you do nothing. Like run an errand, have lunch, and then chill the rest of the weekend. That's okay too. You don't have to have every moment planned.
Yeah, I like that idea. And communicate. That's rule number 1 in a long distance relationship. Communicate.
Yeah.
Hi, Brett and Sally. I found out recently that I'm pregnant with my first child. Congratulations. My husband and I are excited and so grateful, but first trimester has been rough so far. So taking things day by day. I'm a huge planner, and of course, I'm already thinking about a baby shower. I want it to be low key and a traditional ladies only baby shower, while my husband has a guys' weekend. I have an idea to invite my closest friends to spend time with me after the baby shower at a hotel with a pool and catching a nice ish dinner together. I would like to cover the cost of the hotel stay since I'm asking them to take time out of their life to celebrate me, and this isn't an expected cost when your friend has a baby in comparison to a bachelorette party. Is it rude if I ask these friends to help cover a smaller slash reduced amount, maybe like 50 to $100 of the cost? I would also like to point out that I would probably not ask them to be hostesses at my baby shower, but will ask some aunts and cousins. I would prefer for their gift and contribution to my shower to just be their time with me that night and maybe some money. If this is a rude ask, I will prepare to cover the entire cost and plan accordingly. Just need my Queen Sally and King Brett to help me out here as I navigate the etiquette. Thanks always. As somebody who is very limited in their experience with baby showers, I will leave this one to you.
Um,
What is the etiquette here?
I kind of like this idea of like you haven't seen your friends in a while, make a weekend out of it, etc. It kind of, in my opinion, depends on like what everyone's life stage is.
Sure.
If you're the first one to have a baby and your friends are in grad school and stuff like that, I think if you're asking them to come in, the nicest thing to do would probably be to cover it.
Yeah.
Likely they're going to turn down your offer. But I think if you send an email or a text out to them saying like, hey, we're going to probably do my baby shower this weekend. Please don't. I already have relatives hosting. Would love really just the gift of your presence, the present of your presence. Don't need anything else. Just want to spend time with y'all. Was thinking about getting some rooms at this hotel. How are your thoughts? And just see what their reaction is. If they're like, oh my God, that sounds so great, let me know. Probably they're going to just want to cover themselves. And they'll probably cover you for dinner too, because it's like celebrating you. But I think it's a nice thing to do to like cover part of it if you can. I don't think anybody's expecting that though,
Yeah, and I want like a baby shower. I feel like is normally like this is out of the norm, right? The baby shower is normally like a couple hours together, sort of like a bridal shower or like a
Yeah.
brunch, and then everybody goes home.
Yeah.
Right, like it not necessarily is a fly-in activity, or
It's rarely a
can it be?
fly-in unless it's like your sister or like
Yeah,
your best
yeah.
friend.
Okay.
Will's mom came in and his cousin came in for mine. But like
Yep.
I think those were the only people who came in, and maybe one of my friends from Houston who happened to be coming in town.
Yeah, it's a drive-in for sure, but not.
And sometimes not even a drive-in, depending on what's
Okay.
going on. I mean,
Yeah.
like a baby shower is a baby shower. I think I had one. It was lovely. Had a great time, but like at the same time, is it a fully necessary thing? Like I was kind of in the vein of like, this is like, I don't want to open presents in front of people and stuff like that. But like, it was
Yeah.
really sweet and like nice. My mom's friends hosted it for me. And the thing was that I wish that I would have had time to like hang out with my girlfriends afterwards. But literally I was like so close to my due date. We like had to go home and like organize all of our shit in case I had the baby. So I think this is like a really nice thing. I think you present it to your friends like that.
Okay.
And let them kind of take the lead. And then just say, if people are like wishy-washy, be like, this means more to me to like spend time with y'all than it does to like get a onesie from you or a stroller or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
But I also think it's okay to tell your friends, like, we're adults now. Some of my girlfriends were like, we want to host you a shower. I'm like, hey, that's really sweet. My mom's friends have it covered. If y'all want to go in and like get the stroller, like the 10 of y'all, cool. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And they did. And I was like, is this shitty to ask? And I texted my friend. She was like, no, you should absolutely just ask for that. I was like, great. Done.
Yeah, I like the idea of sort of shifting that expected cost from the little onesies and stuff to a bigger thing, whether it's a hotel stay, whether it's a dinner, whether it's a stroller, for example. Like kind of like we're gonna have the onesies and we're gonna have the pajamas and stuff like that. but the big stuff is kind of cool and
Yeah.
practical and meaningful potentially. So I think if I'm you in this situation to the reader, I probably do what I can to cover the hotel. Granted, you get enough of a response from the hotel group to be like, yeah, let's do that. Let's get a 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever people
Yeah.
to do that. They're probably going to pick up your dinner. And so maybe there's some offset there. But I don't know, like, expecting it to turn into another bachelorette party is like I don't want you to get your hopes to that level.
Right. I think coming into it with a very humble, you know, would love to spend time with you. This is I want to make this special because I want to spend time with y'all before I have a kid, etc. Makes more
Right.
sense than being like, please come in town. My baby showers this weekend. It's very important that you're there. It's like you
Yeah.
don't want it to be an expected thing of them offering the invitation, saying you'll cover it. But I
I just
think,
yeah, turning a baby shower from like now we're talking an all day event. Baby
yeah,
shower to pool day to dinner to like I'm guessing you want this to turn into going out after dinner.
no,
But
she's
like
pregnant. No, Brett.
she's in her first trimester though. Like
No, but you have the baby shower when you're like, she'll be like 30
okay,
weeks.
okay, okay.
You're
Well,
not
then
going
I
out. She's not drinking. She's
no, I know, I
gonna
know.
go to a dinner and then probably
Pass out.
have a slumber party at the hotel.
Okay. I don't know. This is
But
new to me. I'm just
I
like
get what you're saying. I think this is a really cute idea.
yeah.
I kind of wish I would have like asked for the same. I
Mhm,
think the issue is, and here's what I want this girl to think about is like likely you will have family in town, and
mhm.
that makes that more difficult. Like I felt
Sure.
like when Will's mom and cousin came in town that I need to spend time with them because they came like all the way from Michigan versus like my friends who I see like every weekend,
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
know? And
absolutely.
so that expectation also needs to be set like with your mom
Yep.
of like, hey, not going to hang out with Aunt, Maureen because I have all my girlfriends in town.
Mhm. Very fair.
And then and on the flip side, you may be spending your baby shower talking to all of your aunts and cousins so that they don't get their feelings hurt.
True.
So it is what it is.
Good luck.
Good luck. Congratulations.
Yes, also yes, congratulations. You wanna do a little family planning?
Sure.
Hey, Brett and Sally. I realize how absurd it may be to write in for your advice on family planning, but I genuinely would love some objective advice as I'm currently feeling pretty stumped. Here we go, Sally. Get your whiteboard out here.
Yeah, this is long.
Some background. My husband and I are both 29 and starting to think about having a family. We've been married for almost 3 years and are on the same page that we are ready to start seriously considering getting pregnant. Here's the issue. I am currently in law school and have about 2 years left, after which we plan to move to the suburbs to live closer to both sets of parents. We currently live in a major metropolitan city in a small condo that we own, so moving isn't as easy as if we were renters. That condo would be too small for us and a baby plus a large dog. We initially plan to start having children around the time we move, when we both will be 31. So this sounds like a great plan, but I'm starting to get extremely nervous about the idea of balancing pregnancy slash postpartum slash a newborn with the same time I'm starting a new law career that will be extremely stressful and time consuming on its own. I'm also worried about the impact this could have on my career were I to go out on maternity leave shortly after starting. So this is leading to consider the idea of having a baby while I'm still in school. This is admittedly less practical as we one, don't have the space, and two, could still afford to have a baby, but are definitely less comfortable than we anticipate being a few years from now. However, the big pro is that despite being in school, my life is pretty flexible and I definitely have more bandwidth to have a baby, which is why it's still feeling like the better option for the purposes of both my sanity and future career. My husband is pretty deferential to whatever I want to do, since he knows I would be the one who has to physically experience everything, and his capacity to be supportive would not change in either outcome. Love the show and appreciate any thoughts that you may have. Thanks. Let's counsel, Sally.
Okay. I'm not going to get on a soapbox here.
Get on the soapbox.
This is why being a woman still comes with so many, like, think about all the stuff that this girl has to, like, think about.
Who she is
do
clearly
and
thinking about
plan
on a daily
versus, like, probably her husband who's
basis.
like, okay, I'll give you sperm whenever you want it. Like, she's thought about, like, can I afford a baby now? Can I physically do this right now? Can I do this, this, and this? And I think as women, it sucks that we have to have the outlook of our life be like, will my career be ruined if I decide to bear a child? So I'm just going to address that right now. I think that it's really, really important to be with a person who is going to support you, which sounds like he is, but also you this is coming from a place of privilege. Not everyone has this opportunity, but working somewhere that will support you having children versus like letting it be a detriment to you. And I know that we all don't get that opportunity, but I do think that a lot of companies, law firms especially right now, are trying to make, for recruiting purposes, wanting people to, feel like they can bear children when they want to and have good maternity leave and things like that. I'm speaking from experience of just having siblings who are lawyers.
Sure.
I think if you decide you want to wait because you don't want to have a baby while you're in school and maybe you want to be a little more financially secure and things like that, while interviewing places, you can ask about maternity leave. Like, that's okay to ask. I know that feels scary coming from a place of like being a woman and feeling like your career's at risk, but those are all recruiting tactics now. People, like big tech companies, are having people like paying for people to freeze their eggs or like offering 6 months maternity leave and things like that as like an incentive to work for them, especially now that work from home exists. Not saying you should absolutely take the full maternity leave that you need, but I think there are lines where you may be working, but you also could be at home with your baby if you wanted to. That is an important question to me to ask in any job interview. And there are laws that protect you from being discriminated against if you are pregnant or a woman and wanting to have kids, etc. All that to say, I think you should have a baby when you're ready to have a baby. It sounds like she has thought a lot of this through. I think when we decided to have a kid, I was like, oh, like this will be great. I'm going to spend 10 months pregnant. I'm going to look awesome. I did not. And I'm going to have this great maternity leave that was over the summer. It's going to be like a little vacation. It was not. It's not a vacation. And blah, blah, blah. I think, honestly, I'm like, I want to tell her to wait. Because I do think that there are and I say that coming from a place of like, I knew a girl in school who got pregnant and had a kid while we were in school, which is probably less flexible than like law school. Like being in a medical residency, she literally had like a couple weeks off and then had to go straight back to work. But on the flip side, like your child remembers very little of that. Like when they're that young, they won't remember the fact that you weren't there a lot. When they're a baby, they have no memory of that. That's more about you and how you choose to spend your time and things like that.
Yeah.
Number one, commend you for thinking about this right now at the age of 29. Another option, if you have the money or have a job that will pay to do this, is that if you're not ready to have a kid, say you're in this girl's position, but you don't want a child yet, is to freeze your eggs and or freeze embryos.
Okay.
That's a very expensive option. Okay. I'm not saying that everyone has the means or opportunity to do this. I'm just saying, especially if you're a young woman working in one of these industries that's being very competitive for people, ask about that and then take advantage of it. Because I think what happens now is that I have friends, we're approaching, mid 30s, and they didn't think about any of it till just now. But the younger your eggs are, the better they are when they get implanted in you. The younger they are, the chromosomally normal they are, they have, better odds of becoming a full-term pregnancy, things like that. So if you are in a position where you can freeze your eggs or freeze embryos with your partner, do it. And that again is coming from a place of extreme privilege, knowing that that's an expensive option. I would probably only have done that had a company been paying for it. I think 31 is still young. I had Fritz at 31. I think 31. And still an okay time to have a baby. I think showing up to a job interview pregnant is still okay. Like, but all that is scary. All that to say, like, if you are, my pragmatic self is saying, wait till you like have a job, can hire probably help, have the help of your parents because you're close to them, and aren't like putting yourself into a debt hole of like law school and this child and you don't have room. But at the same time, like I knew people who had kids during school and they made it work, and it is what it is. Once the baby's here, you just figure shit out.
Yeah. I think that is why I am on team sooner.
Okay.
Like if you have a baby at 29, my thinking is that you are going to be a lawyer. My best friend in the world, shouts to Matt, is a lawyer. Have seen the power of what law school does for your career once you get out of it.
Yeah.
And those bumps happen very quickly. So any debt you accrue now is wiped away quickly once your career begins in an ideal world. So I think for your kind of not sanity, for something like a comfortable thing that could happen is you have a baby at 29 or 30. That child is old enough and kind of mature enough to that, okay, now daycare is an option. You are able to kind of sell the house when you're ready or sell the condo, move out into the suburbs where the parents have, auto help is built in out there. And I just think I don't know. I kind of just feel like if you do it now, you're ready to go post law school, to jump into the career, to grind, because those first couple years are a grind out of law school.
Having had a kid, I think this has actually convinced me even more the opposite.
Okay.
I weirdly think, as exhausted as I was postpartum, that's a grind. Like pumping is a grind. Being back at work is a grind. I don't know that I could be where I am with Fritz right now. He's 2, or he's going to be 2 soon. He's so attached to me that like if I were to change drastically my schedule where he saw me a lot and then stopped seeing me very much, I think that would be a harder transition than just giving birth.
Gotcha.
And like taking care of a newborn whilst working. Because honestly, I think Fritz is at the age where like he is fully a toddler. He's fully getting into the terrible twos. It's becoming a lot. We are very, very blessed to have help. But when he sees me, I mean, this exact thing happened this morning. I'm helping him get ready. So as well. And the second I leave, he like just loses his mind. And if that attachment happens and then you have to start spending 80 hours a week at the office, I think that is going to be more difficult than spending 80 hours a week at the office with a newborn. That's my personal experience. Everyone is different.
No, that's a good point.
I do think your point is true too. Like that kid can start going to daycare and like go to school and things like that. All that to say, you can talk yourself round and round about which one's going to be right.
Exactly, yeah.
If you want a baby now, have a baby now. But if you are trying to have a baby now just because you're worried about what's going to be like in 2 years, I don't know that that's the best choice.
Sure, I get that. Just you know what, pull the goalie and see what happens.
It's family planning is really hard because it's like you start stressing yourself out. You start if you're like me and you're type A, you start thinking of every freaking possibility under the sun.
It sounds like this person is relatively type A,
yeah,
and also going to be a lawyer. Like every variable has been has been kind of calculated here.
Yeah.
And I think you can talk yourself into and out of every outcome.
Honestly.
And then it's like, do you want to have multiple kids?
Yeah.
And then,
because then you have a kid now, maybe in 2 years you want another kid, and then you're just in the situation that you were trying to avoid in the first place.
Exactly.
And then you have 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe Brett's right. Just pull the goalie and see what happens.
Good luck. I think either way, you will be.
I feel like I just talked in circles, but hopefully we gave her some clarity.
I think this is a very like family planning in general. You can talk like you can talk yourself and your husband and your significant other into circles.
Yeah.
Like that there's no easy way to do it unless it's 100 years ago and the only job is farming and you have like 19 kids.
Yeah.
Like that's it. That was, that plan was straightforward. Not so much anymore. Hey, Brett and Sally. Need some help from the Hinge god himself and Sally, who, if I remember correctly, is a notorious slider into Will's DMs. Anyways, made a Hinge account not too long ago and finally got a match. To be honest, I was caught off guard when this happened because the girl was on the, quote, standouts page, and I was not expecting any sort of response. I've never used dating apps before and was curious about how you go about talking to someone that you've never met. Any advice on how to keep their attention on the app without seeming like too much or too weird? How long should you message with a person before setting up a date? I guess I just feel weird about trying to get to know someone when it's not face-to-face, as it's not something that I've ever done before. Any tips would be appreciated. Cheers. He calls me the Hinge god. I'm not the Hinge god.
Is there a standouts page?
Randy, can I get some help on this? The standouts page.
Okay.
I learned about this past weekend.
So the standouts page is a page on Hinge that is like the top 7 bachelorettes or bachelors that are pretty much, they're getting a lot of likes. So it's like, oh, we're going to put them on the standouts page. And the only way that you can like them is if you send them a rose, which you get 1 rose per week, or you have to pay to get more roses. So, and then they only get likes through roses, pretty much like that. And then they can go through stuff. So the standouts are like pretty much the most attractive people.
But can the standouts, so in the case of this person, can the standouts see normal people too?
So whenever you like someone or someone likes you, Hinge is different than Tinder or Bumble. You see it. Like if someone likes you or you like someone, they will see it and then they can decide whether they match or not. Where Tinder, it's like you guys both have to independently like each other and then you guys will match.
Right.
So they will see. So this guy probably sent a rose to her and she matched with him and he'll send 1 message and she will just never respond to him again. So that's how it'll usually go. Sorry, man.
Okay. Well, there's Randy's tidbit. I wonder if, do you feel like it's maybe a little lonely being a standout if only people can, send you roses and they can't just, normally send you regular ass messages? Randy's saying no.
No, because they're getting tons and tons of likes. That's why.
Okay.
So like the rose.
So you not only you can get you can also get likes.
Yeah, but they're probably not getting served to people because they're getting served to everyone on the standouts page.
Okay.
Where like a regular old in person is just going through a feed and it's just like random whether you get served or not. Where standouts are there for 24 hours saying that like if you have a rose, you can send it to any of these people. So
how do you become a standout?
You're just really hot.
You go viral.
I don't know. Yeah, pretty much. You go viral on being a
hot person.
A potential bachelorette or bachelor.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. I'm gonna keep Randy's mic up for this one because we may need to return to Randy.
I mean, just for clarity, I did not slide into Will's DMs. He slid into mine.
Oh, okay. Write the record.
I did apply to be his girlfriend first, but then he slid into my DMs.
Also, for clarity, I was on Hinge for 1 day, and I had an awesome 2.5-year relationship after it.
Yeah. So maybe we're not the best.
No, right. I'm not the best.
This is what I'm going to say, and it's going to be short and sweet. You got to shoot your shot.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit if you don't keep her attention or you embarrass yourself or whatever? You don't know her. You're likely in the sea of other suitors.
Mm-hmm.
You got to just leave that self-doubt at the door. You got to shoot your shot. Maybe I think just be yourself. Like, I know that is so cliche, but like, don't go in there with like some dumb one-liner. Just like something kind of like a little cheeky, some good banter.
Yeah,
Quote Love
like
Island.
I think we're past the days of like the 2014 pickup lines
Yeah.
where it's like if I were, or like I don't know, I don't know any.
Like if I feel like if someone was like trying to talk to me and they were just like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like, as boring as that is, Randy's like, give me a look like fuck no. But like something like that to just start a conversation. She doesn't respond to you, great, but like clearly she liked you back or whatever the
I'm
hell.
trying to think of how to turn my third person bartender technique, my tactic, into
I don't think you
an
can
online
do that on Hinge.
right. Which I don't know how
Hinge
you do
is
that.
still matches you based on people that you mutual friends, right?
No.
Not anymore.
Hinge has a bunch of like prompts. It has a bunch of pictures, a bunch of prompts that you can answer to, and then you can either just send a like or you can like comment on someone's answer or picture.
Oh,
so
so I like that method.
You get to send a message first. So
it's basically like responding to an Instagram story.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
So use that.
Yeah.
They answer questions. Hey, saw you mountain
You said you
bike.
like skiing.
Yeah.
Like greetings from Heavenly in Lake Tahoe, and it's like a selfie or something. Like some I don't know.
Find a connection, put it out there, leave your self-doubt at the door, and just let it be. The thing is, you can't lose love you don't have. So like you don't need to freak out if she doesn't respond to you.
Correct.
Bummer. But like we got to stop putting our self-worth in whether or not someone responds to me on Hinge.
Agreed. Now, the logistical stuff. How long do you message somebody before setting up a date? I think with Hinge, you're kind of trying to get off the app as soon as possible.
Yes.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get their
You're
number.
like, hey, here's my Instagram. Here's my number. Like,
I
let's
think
get
you
off the
exchange
app.
like a little conversation,
Yeah.
a little banter.
Maybe what's 48 hours worth? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Does that sound?
Maybe even less. In my opinion, if you have
Okay.
like a good exchange, like back and forth
If you're going
of several messages, you're like, hey, would love to like get your number or take you out or whatever you want to say.
3 or 4 back and forths, like 3 or 4 solid back and forths.
Yeah,
and
where
it's like,
she's
all
not
right,
just giving you one word answers.
Yeah.
She's just saying yes to stuff. Like she's just being nice. Like why?
Or
is she
she's
answering?
a robot.
Or she's a robot. But like if you're having like a conversation, I think it's okay to move past the app.
Yeah, I totally think that. I think the goal is to get off the app as soon as
tilting
possible.
your head like
That's I'm gonna say that's especially a standout. You need to get off the app as soon as possible.
Get her off that app
and get exactly because she's like I said, getting a sea of roses and likes. But like if you're texting them, that's completely different than a lot of these people just don't even go on Hinge anymore. Like so, if you get a match, probably a couple, maybe 2 or 3 messages back and forth or something that's nice, and then try to get the number and go there.
Okay, and then let me ask you this: how long is the conversation before you set up a in-person date? Like my with Caroline, it was basically 2 weeks.
I mean, it's hard to say because it varies from person to person. There's people whose prompts are like, "Do you just want to skip the small talk and go on a date?" Like, so I don't know. I would just, I don't know. It doesn't work for me. Who knows?
To me, I think you shoot your shot early.
Yeah,
like
shoot your shot. Hey, let's go grab a drink.
Yeah.
Or coffee. I feel like coffee's like kind of supplanted the drink as far as dates go. Is that crazy to me?
No, that's not wrong.
I don't like that. I think I don't like 9 a.m. coffee. I'm not like romantically like ready to rock here.
Oh, I don't go for a 9 a.m. coffee. I just get coffee, but like at like 4.
Yeah, happy hour coffee. It's fine.
Not meeting someone at 9 a.m. for the first time.
Me neither. I feel like people are doing that.
Well, they have more confidence in themselves in the morning than I do. So
yes, I'm like, I don't want any part of meeting a date and then I have to go to work and think about how the date went. No, let's do 4 or 5 o'clock, coffee or a drink. And if it goes really well, we turn it into dinner.
Yeah. Biggest thing I say, just ask for the date because if they just don't respond, then you shot your shot and have like an idea of a place you want to go in like a day. So like, do you want to go grab a drink on Thursday? I mean, otherwise it's like, oh, do you just kind of want to go grab a drink?
You want to
like, oh yeah.
You don't want
concrete plans.
Like,
concrete plans. You don't want to leave anything up to like the fate of not responding.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like, if they don't respond, it was like, okay, then that was a no. You did not want to do that.
Thank you, Hinge correspondent Randy.
Yes, thanks.
Hey, Brett and Sally. Last one here. I'm going to a bachelor party this spring in a city I don't really get a chance to visit often that one of my best undergrad buddies lives in, who I see maybe twice a year. Would it be a bad move to peel off from the larger group in between scheduled activities and grab a drink or something with this buddy? I'm 32, and the group I'm going with I see fairly regularly and would let the groom and best man know ahead of time. On the fence about this one and would appreciate your experience and or insight.
I think this is perfectly acceptable.
To a degree.
I think you do it at the beginning or the end, not in the middle.
I like that. You can't miss something.
Correct.
You can't miss the tea time. You can't miss the steak dinner. You can't do not miss anything because of this.
Okay.
My idea here from experience, because I've done this before. Bring him out at, you dinner, get ready back at the hotel or house, and you're going out. He can join up with the crew at a bar at 9, 10 o'clock.
I think that's fine. I also was going to suggest just go on Thursday and have dinner with him on Thursday, and then go
Also
then go to the Friday tea time.
Okay, I love that.
Don't tack it on Saturday morning when everyone's going to a pool party. You're like, I'm going to go to brunch with my friend. I'll see y'all in 6 hours. Don't do that.
Agreed.
But I agree. Either fold him into the situation if he's going to mesh well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's something to consider for sure.
Don't bring your most of the time people if you're out at bars, no one's going to care that you met up with somebody that you knew.
Correct.
But if you're trying to spend quality time with him away from other people, I think going to a dinner or something or lunch, if your first activity is Friday night, then get there Friday and have lunch with him. Or try to schedule a late flight out on Sunday, which I highly suggest against. And
I love late flights.
Yeah.
One of our great debates we could do.
I know. But if you want to have lunch with him on Sunday, then do that.
Yeah.
See him before you fly out. But just don't do anything, like you said, in the middle of. And I think you only have to run it by the best man of the groom if you're hey, my buddy Tom's going to come meet us out. He lives in Austin. Is that cool with y'all?
And in my experience, it never hasn't been.
Right.
You're not adding him to the steakhouse reservation.
Yeah, you're not bringing him on the party bus. No. You're just he's meeting you at a bar.
He's meeting us at a bar. Nothing wrong with that. I've done it. I've been part of bachelor parties that do it. A lot of times they're a great guy and they mesh right into the thing. Sometimes they're added to the group text the next day. It's oh shit, Brad was awesome.
Yeah, I think that's normal. But don't make him part of some sanctioned activity.
Correct.
Something that's easy. If y'all are in New Orleans, everyone's bopping around Bourbon Street, have him meet you there.
And I really hesitate. He mentioned to go grab a drink or so. I really hesitate to leave the group mid bachelor party.
Yeah.
I really hesitate to do that. Fold him in or front end or back end it.
Yeah, it's too hard to be I'm going to grab the Saturday drink before the steakhouse because then y'all get into a conversation and you're 45 minutes late to dinner.
Can't do that.
You're trying to catch up with everyone else while they're throwing tomahawks at the wall. It's just
can't do that.
You screw yourself and you probably piss off your friend.
It's you're right. It's the groom's thing.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind too. Don't carve out 4 hours Saturday night for somebody else.
Yeah. I like going early. That's a fun kickoff to the weekend. And then you can be hey, we're going to be out on Saturday if you want to join us. Then double whammy. You get extra time with your friend.
Bada bang. That's going to do it for us, Sally. I do have one shower thought.
I have 0, so you go.
Well, it's more of a, I need you to clear something up.
Okay.
Saw on Twitter the other day that you might have been getting into it as far as guys' trips go. Sally, what is your opinion on girls attending guys' trips?
I said, we can pull the tape.
I'm just giving you the floor to re-clear things up here.
I said that I do not think the girls should go on guys' trips. I don't know if that's what I said in the moment. That is how I feel. I think we've had 2 questions like this. Mm-hmm. One where they were going to maybe the game, They were
Oh
going,
yeah. Yes.
They were
yes,
going to the
yes,
college
yes.
football semifinal.
Yep.
And I'm like, you either go with your significant other or you go with the guys. You don't
Mingle.
mingle this around. And then I think we also answered this question about a bachelor party that was going to be in New Orleans, and she was also going to be in New Orleans.
Oh yeah, and I was like, do we meet up?
No, I think
I
I
don't think you
made
did.
that abundantly clear. I like,
Yeah.
and I think I even used the example of we were on a girls' trip. I was in Vegas with some girls, and our friends from college were on a bachelor party there.
Okay.
We weren't dating any of those guys. We just knew them from college.
Mhm.
And they like invited us out with them. We were like, no, we're good. Cause it's like, I don't need to be on some other person's significant other's guy's trip. But then on
Yeah.
the same vein of like, why am I'm not trying to like go with Will while he's somewhere and like ruin his time.
Mhm.
Like if it's a sanctioned, like, hey, a bunch of girls are going somewhere and then the guys happen to be in the same city, I still think you separate. But then you at least have the excuse of like, my girlfriends are going to be there.
Sure.
You're not like following them to Vegas.
Agreed.
Did I say something different?
No, I just saw that. I saw somebody like.
I like saw that and it pissed me off. And I was like,
Yeah.
I never once said that a girl should go on a guy's trip.
I agree.
So then I shot back and then he said that I had nails on a chalkboard voice. And if you're listening,
Oh, Jesus.
joke's on you because you're still listening. So
Man, I don't think you have nails on a chalkboard voice.
maybe I do, but whatever. People are going to hate on Twitter. I don't care. Sometimes I want to be like, you realize that you just spent time listening to our podcast, supporting us, and then came at me and then like got upset that I like clapped back at you. Is that snotty?
No.
Is that bad social media behavior?
Thank you for the clarification here, Sally. By the way, I think
If you want to pull the tapes, maybe I need to be schooled. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think this obviously shouts to Alex Bennett at Barstool. They've been doing a lot of run with this week.
Mm-hmm.
She attended her husband's 30th birthday party in a mountain town somewhere. So like she was getting kind of unfairly blasted because it was a birthday party that other couples were invited on. Girls couldn't go. She ended up being the only girl. So I think it was kind of a situation, like a circumstance thing.
Yeah.
But it looked like
she just like
but then
attended.
she doubled down after and was like, I don't know why girls can't go on guys' trips. And then the internet was like poured on. So
there have been times where like Will claims that he like not claims he does want to go on like a UK golf soccer trip.
Who doesn't?
And I'm like, if you do that, I am going. And I'm going to go hang out with our friend Rosie. Okay. I'm not trying to go on your golf or like go to soccer. I'm just saying, if you're going to the UK, so am I. And we're not going to see each other. I'm just going to also be there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Also, I think girls being like, whether it's couples, non-dating, like friends, girls being on a guy's trip can be fun. It just that's no longer a guy's trip. It's just a fun like trip. Right. Guys' trips are a very specific genre of trip.
Yeah.
Where you say things that you can't say with your significant other around. You make jokes that you can't make without your significant other. You do dumb shit that you can't do without your significant. Like, it's just a different atmosphere. Once you enter like a girl, it changes. It's not to say it's less fun or less like you're less doing stuff. It's just different.
I think when we answered this, I'm actually like remembering now that it was the New Orleans thing. Mm-hmm. And I made the argument that like, sure, you can go and not see each other, but it almost still changes the dynamic because he's like worried he's going to run into you.
Of course.
And not saying that there's like anything nefarious going on, but like if Will was in New Orleans and then like for Micah's bachelor party and then Alyssa and I were like, oh, we're going to go too. Like they'd probably be pretty annoyed. They'd probably be like, well, now, like, what if we see you out at Commander's Palace or like what, they didn't even go there. Galatoire's. Like, that's annoying because then you're not like being your authentic self. You're just like worried your wife might show up.
Yeah. It's like you run into Will like with his shirt off and just beads all over. You're like, what's up, Will? He's like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Didn't expect to see you here.
I didn't hear what the Barstool girl said, but I get where she's coming from. Like, if they had a trip and then all the girls backed out and you're just like, well, screw it, I'm still like going.
Yeah.
But I also get why people are up in arms about it.
Mm-hmm.
Every situation is different.
She initially doubled down in a clip. Like, she doubled down. Like, girls can be fun too. Like, girls can be part of guys' trips. We can talk with the boys. It's like, you can, but it's just not. It's not a guy's trip anymore.
Will wants to come on our girls' trip to Cabo.
Nope.
Like,
I don't want to go on a girls' trip anywhere.
And he probably wants to go to Cabo, but like he doesn't want to like come with us.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
We have our two
Feel free
lanes.
to clap at me on Twitter, because sometimes we can get real ballsy and clap back. Sometimes I just will ignore you. So we'll see.
That's going to do it for us today, Sally. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Adam, for cutting clips. Thank you, Sally, for bundling up this morning, braving the cold, and coming in and putting down an awesome episode of the Mail-In Podcast. Please subscribe, rate 5 stars, review of the show, tell a friend about it. Hit the hotline number 888-362-MAIL. That's 888-362-6245. Or write in at the link in the Twitter bio at Mail-In Podcast. Sally, where can the people find you?
Sally deFries on Instagram and Twitter.
I'm Brett Merriman at Schmerriman on both of those platforms. Before we go, I will say, keep an eye on the mail-in space.
In the near future.
In the near future. Maybe some change coming.
Bye.